Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Yes Network, the home of champions.
The second installment of the Subway Series brings a first-rate matchup. Pedro Martinez, a Red Sox in Mets clothing, will try to tame his tormentors. The team that has handled Pedro better than most will try to continue paternity. Mike Mussina will get the familiar assignment in a game the sliding Yankees need desperately. Mussina must match Pedro 0 for 0 and hope his team breaks out. The Galaxy of Stars will be like a New York roll call or the gaudy playbill of a star-studded Broadway show. Each star elbowing for positions of prominence. But it will come down to mound mastery. Two men going chest to chest for diamond dominance. It might be the Subway Series, but there will be no free rides. Yankees-Mets next on Yes. Oh yeah, the Stars are out tonight. Willie Randolph makes his way in. First game as a manager at Yankee Stadium. And the Mets, led by Carlos Beltran, coming in, and that's the guy they're going to have to face. Mike Mussina. Pedro Martinez, a late arrival, needed a police escort. Got here at 6:09. Subway Series is in town, and the excitement is with it. And tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. The New York Mets take on the New York Yankees in the first of three here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Jim Cott and Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. This should be a fun weekend, and there's a lot riding on this weekend. Both teams need victories. The Mets are coming off winning 2 out of 3 against the Phillies, their first series win in 5 series. The Yankees, though, had won 6 in a row, Jim, and then they lose 3 out of 4 to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. What happened?
Well, Tampa Bay came in here, and as Kenny has pointed out on the pregame, they have a lot of confidence against the Yankees, but pure and simple, the Yankees have not pitched consistently well. That's why they go on a hot streak when they get good starting pitching, and then all of a sudden when they don't, teams like Tampa Bay take advantage of that. And I think one thing we might have to see the Yankees do tonight for the first time all year is win a low-scoring game, because you don't figure to score 4 or 5 runs against Pedro Martinez, and they're 0-25 when they score 3 or less.
Now, speaking of not scoring, the Mets don't score many runs. They get pretty good pitching, but this is a team that's also trying to find its way, get its identity.
Well, the offense hasn't been there, but when you have Pedro Martinez on the mound, as Kitty said, you usually don't need too many runs to win a ball game. And Pedro has been pitching very well in the National League. He leads the league in strikeouts, so it's one thing when you have Pedro on the mound, your team automatically, their confidence goes up. I think, like Kitty said, it's going to be a low-scoring ball game tonight. You might see a bunt actually help the Bombers out tonight. Tony Womack, Robinson Cano, Derek Jeter, somebody move runners over to help score runs.
It should be fun. There's going to be a full house, and we mentioned the pitching matchup. It's a beauty. It's Pedro Martinez against Mike Mussina. When we come back, an extended look at this pitching matchup. Stay right here on Yes. Size of this matchup. The Mets are in Yankee Stadium to meet the Bombers. Tonight's pitching matchup brought to you by Infinity, makers of innovative high-performance premium vehicles. Pretty good matchup. Pedro Martinez goes for the Mets, 7-2, 2.76 ERA, and Mike Mussina for the Yankees. He's 8-4 with a 3.82 earned run average.
Well, it has the makings of a great duel, and we're going to show you why. Mike Mussina's coming off 3 wins in a row. Pinpoint control. Check out Posada's glove, and I'll tell you, Mussina seldom misses it. That's against the Cubs. He went 6 1/3, picked up another victory there. I said he's 3 in a row. Now his opponent, Pedro Martinez, don't be fooled by the fact that he's lost his last 2. This was on May 22nd against the Yankees. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. The National League is hitting just a .172 against Pedro Martinez. Best in the major leagues. Could be quite a duel.
And the strange thing about that game, again, he didn't win. He pitches well against the Yankees, but he just has a .500 record, 10-10. You see what he's done against the rest of the major leagues, 179 and 68. He has a lower ERA against the rest of the major leagues and a lower batting average against as well. In the postseason, 6 games, 1-2, 4.72. Have we whetted your appetite? I think so. Come on back for the first pitch. Moments ago, Willie Randolph got a nice hand as he took the lineup card out to home plate. His first managerial experience here at Yankee Stadium. Longtime Yankee, and now brings in the arch rival New York Mets. So what's on that starting lineup card? So Mussina is ready, and we are ready for baseball here at Yankee Stadium. Crowd still filing in, a lot of traffic outside getting to the ballpark. And the pitch to Reyes is a strike, and we're underway.
Numbers on Mike Mussina this year. This will be his 16th start. 8-4 record. Pretty good earned run average. More than a hit per inning.
And the pitch is low.
Let's check out the Jeep scouting report on Mike Mussina. The Moose against the Mets. He's 5-1 in his career against New York Mets. The number 9. Last year when he beat the Mets here at the stadium, his record went to 9-4. If he wins tonight, he'll be
9-4.
That's right.
Ground ball Latino, one away.
And of course he has that sharp knuckle curve to use against the young hitters like Reyes and David Wright.
Hey, New York Yankees baseball on Yes is presented in high definition where available. That's a beautiful high definition shot right there. Get the whole scope and breadth of the stadium. Here's Mike Cameron. Willie Randolph has been toying with the idea of leading off Cameron and having Reyes bat second, but today he goes with Reyes and then Cameron. Cameron has a better on-base percentage. Reyes doesn't get on base enough. There's a strike. Yankees baseball is broadcast in Spanish. It's available by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Toyota with 17 models moving you forward.
We go back to Cameron's days with the White Sox. He had some experience leading off. It was his first club in the major leagues.
The 0-1. Just missed.
As we talked about, Kenny, before we went on the air and visiting with Mike Cameron, he's battling back from a wrist injury, and he said, I'm just kind of getting my legs underneath me. But, boy, when he's healthy, he's a terrific center fielder, and he brings a nice extra dimension of speed to a lineup.
You know, one thing he did mention to me about his wrist injury, he said it's kind of a blessing in disguise because with the wrist bothering him from time to time, he has to hit the ball the other way. He has to concentrate on more just laying the bat out there instead of whipping it through the zone. So he's become a better hitter to the opposite field. The Yankees actually play him straight up in the outfield.
2-1. Ripped past A-Rod and down the left field line. That's going to go into the corner. Played out there by Tony Womack, and Cameron is on with a one-out double.
No problems with the wrist right there.
That's like a broken record for the Yankees. They keep trying to get inside on hitters, and the hitters keep turning on that inside pitch. Like Kenny said, Mike Cameron's done a good job of going the other way, but when you get a pitch like that on the inside third, that's a hitter's delight.
14th double of the year for Cameron. So Mussina will work out of the stretch. And here's Carlos Beltran. Cameron can run. Takes a good lead off second. And the pitch to Beltran is a strike. Beltran in his first season with the Mets not having a very good year. He has 8 home runs. 7 of them, though, have been with Pedro pitching. Your only option is to pitch Pedro every day.
Kenny mentioned in the scouting report the sharp knuckle curve, and I think everything works off the fastball, but Paul O'Neill made a good point from playing behind Mike Mussina. He said, boy, when he's got command of his curveball, that's when he's at his best. And he's won 3 in a row, and I think one of the big reasons he has had the best curveball of the year in those 3 starts.
The 0-2. Check swing, fouled away.
And you saw this last pitch, that 0-2 pitch up and in that Beltran just tried to avoid, but it hit his bat. Another thing that Mussina does with that knuckle curve, following this high fastball, sometimes he follows it with the knuckle curve or a changeup that moves down and away. Up and in, low and away, just changing planes, moving the ball around. He's a master of that, and when he's on, he becomes even more difficult to hit.
And the 0-2. Grounded foul.
You know, it's become more and more of a discussion, and even recently Joe Torre and Mel Stodham, I talked to Joe about it today, but it's something we've been watching for years up here, and there again you see Posada's target. Inside, the pitch before that to Beltran, that's what you're taught as a pitcher. You throw inside to make a hitter move his feet, but to pitch inside on the plate, you have to really be accurate and have a lot on it. Hitters are just so much quicker in there.
And then the 0-2. Nice block by Posada.
And I agree with you, Kitty, because sometimes it takes just 1 inch or 2 inches towards the middle of the plate, and the hitter gets the good wood on it. We saw it the other night when Giambi hit the game-winning home run. They tried to bomb him inside, and I forgot who the pitcher was, but he missed by about 2 inches. But Giambi did miss. The ball went in the upper deck.
Happened to Carl Pavano after pitching brilliantly for almost 7 innings. The same thing. Nick Green took him out. Game-winning home run.
1-2. He struck him out 2 away.
The pitchers call that the backdoor breaking ball. Look at the sequence. Good curve for a strike. Kind of got by with that one. Now there's the good up and in pitch. Keeps coming inside, misses with that one, and then there's what you call a backdoor breaking ball. And Mussina, more than any other pitcher, can move the ball around all 4 quadrants of the strike zone and usually is very, very close to hitting the target with every pitch.
Watch the sharpness of the break on this knuckle curve. I mean, that thing was headed for the dirt.
2 away. Beltran will watch Cliff Floyd. Cleanup batter for the Mets. And he gets hit by Mussina. So he's trying to come inside. And he missed too far inside rather than out over the plate. So Floyd takes first, hit by pitch.
Boy, and that's a shock to see Mike Mussina hit somebody. The 4th hitter this year. That's a lot for Mike. He seldom comes in that far off the plate. And with first base open, I mean, I can't believe there's any intent there, because the guy stepping into the batter's box right now, that's what it sounded like, is you know, he'd love to be in the American League. He thrives on being the DH.
Well, he's the DH tonight. That's Mike Piazza. And as a DH in his career, .320, 9 home runs and 27 runs batted in 38 games. That's what he's done this year. And the 9 home runs, the most by a National League DH. Pitch is high, and that's probably where his future is at the end of this year. This is the final year of his Met contract. You see those numbers we just spoke about. Piazza probably ends up with an American League team, splitting time between DH and catcher. And the 1-0.
Willie Randolph mentioned that Mike Piazza will probably DH 2 of these 3 games this weekend against the Yankees. But not only a chance to use Piazza as the DH, maybe a chance to give him like a half a day off.
Surprised he won't DH him 3 games.
He said at least 2 out of 3.
He's got his good backup catcher back. Willie does. When the Yankees played over at Shea, Ramon Castro is on the disabled list. He is to the Mets what John Flaherty is to the Yankees.
There's a strike whispered across the outside corner. 2-1.
Good pitcher's pitch right there. When the count is 2-0, a big-time hitter like Mike Piazza is really looking for something he can drive, and that one was nailed on the outside corner.
And the 2-1. Foul back. Look at Piazza. He looks a little bit different than he has in most of his career. He used to have a goatee. You see him foul this one back.
It's one that, as a pitcher against Mike Piazza, you're kind of happy to get that one back. That came right back across the middle. And Mussina had enough on it upstairs.
The 2-2. Slow roller to A-Rod. He fields and gets the slow-footed Piazza for the final out of the inning. So Mussina works in and out of trouble. No runs a hit and 2 men left. That's nothing, and the New York Yankees coming about. Pedro Martinez took the walk to the mound from the third base dugout and was serenaded with a loud chorus of boos from the Yankee Stadium crowd. They remember his Red Sox days. A Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup that Pedro is going to face. It's presented by Rico. The captain and the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off, batting second and playing second, Robinson Cano. Gary Sheffield, the right fielder, will hit third. Lifetime against Martinez. He has 3 homers, 11 runs batted in. Alex Rodriguez, the third baseman, cleans up, batting fifth and DHing Hideki Matsui. Bernie Williams in center field will bat sixth. The number 7 hitter is the catcher Jorge Posada. Constantino Martinez back in the starting lineup. He'll be at first base batting 8th. And batting 9th and playing left field, the slumping Tony Womack.
Well, here are the numbers on Pedro Martinez. This will be start number 15. 7-2, excellent earned run average, less than a hit per inning as usual. Only 7 home runs allowed, more than a strikeout per inning, which is quite usual for Pedro. Here's our Jeep scouting report on Pedro Martinez. Well, there's a few guys who can go around baseball with one name. You say Pedro, one name, plenty game. A-Rod's another. You think back in the day, you say Gibby, Bob Gibson, Reggie, Kitty. He leads the National League in strikeouts, and he's got a full tool belt. You ever see those handymen?
Yeah.
He's got everything you need out there to get batters out.
Boy, when you pointed out those numbers, you talk about an example of power and control. The base runners in innings pitched and then, 114 strikeouts. So as you pointed out, you might see a bunt and a hit and run, something early on. Both these managers are going to try to get on the board best they can.
Well, here's Derek Jeter. .393 on base percentage this year. Very familiar with Pedro Martinez. Pedro's been standing behind the mound waiting patiently as Jeter took his time walking into the right-handed batter's box. And there's a strike. Last time Pedro was on this mound in relief in Game 7 of the ALCS, a game the Red Sox seemed to have in hand. For some reason, Terry Francona brought Pedro in relief, and he made the game interesting for a little bit. That one's drilled deep to right center. Going back, Beltran looking up. See ya! A solo home run into the right center field bleachers for Derek Jeter. A leadoff home run. And the Yankees are up 1-0.
Well, Pedro's first pitch of the night was right down the middle, and Derek Jeter took it. And this home run pitch is just about in the same spot. He didn't take the second one. He got good wood on it. And Jeter hits number 10 on the season to deep right center field. This is his first hit this year against the Mets. He was 0 for 7 at Shea Stadium in the Subway Series in Queens.
Pitch to Robinson Cano has popped up. David Wright is right there, and he'll make the play in foul territory, 1 away.
Derek in his career has hit well against the Mets. .359 coming into tonight, and .409 in the World Series in 2000.
Think back to the game that Pedro pitched at Shea Stadium. It was that first inning that he really labored, and it looked like he might not make it through 5, and then he just cruised through the next 6.
That's Jeter's 14th career leadoff home run. And the pitch to Sheffield is a strike. He's not enamored with the call. Home plate umpire is Phil Cuzzy. Pushes the envelope a little farther outside, and the count 1-1. Crowd still buzzing about Jeter's blast. That one's lined to left field. Giving chase is Floyd, and off the plate on a hop. Floyd took a very circuitous route to that ball and played it into a single.
Yeah, a little bigger left field to play here, and Cliff Floyd's in there for his bat. This was one of those that, you're playing Sheffield deep. Had a little top spin on it. And in his younger days with a little more speed, Cliff Floyd put this away. But right now he makes a decision. No, we're going to play it on a hop.
Here's a look at that Yankee Stadium left field. I remember the few times that I played in left field, I did not like being over there.
Need two guys out there.
Wow, the center fielder looked like he was a day's ride away. And I knew I wasn't fast enough to cover all that territory.
There's A-Rod's numbers, putting together an MVP-type season. Missed outside, the count 1-1. Has a 7-game hitting streak, during which time he's 10 for 30. There's a strike. That was odd. A-Rod dropped his hand off the bat as the pitch was being delivered.
Yeah, I wonder if he was just on the verge of calling time.
I'd have thought it was low.
And the 1-2. Missed outside with a breaking ball. Pedro really holding on to the ball in the set for a while, trying to throw off Sheffield at first.
I remember Pedro in his days with the Montreal Expos when he was a real blazer. Come over to Montreal in a trade with the Dodgers for Delino DeShields.
Two-two. Line drive, base hits to left field. Sheffield goes to second. Yankees have runners on first and second with 1 out. 3 hits in this first inning against Pedro.
Yeah, Rick Peterson marks it down, the pitching coach, but he doesn't have to, because as soon as Pedro threw this pitch, he went back through his pitching motion like he knew he didn't get enough break on that one. That was the classic hanging breaking ball. Wanted it low and away, and it hung right in the middle of the plate for Alex.
You know, for a hitter like Alex Rodriguez, Pedro might be thinking, I'm lucky that one was just a base hit.
Now, this is unusual in itself because Pedro's the best in the majors at 1, 2, 3 innings. He usually, more than half of the time, will breeze through the lineup 1, 2, 3.
He deals to Matsui. Ground ball to first. Minkiewicz thinks about second. He'll take the out at first. As the runners move up, there's 2 outs.
You know, I was thinking about Pedro's days in Montreal when he was traded for Delino DeShields. The Dodgers thought that Pedro didn't have the stamina to be a good starting pitcher, and they traded him for Delino DeShields. They needed a second baseman, the Expos, and got Pedro, where he kind of developed into the pitcher that he is now. He won his first Cy Young Award with the Expos in '97. Struck out over 300 batters that year.
Here's Bernie Williams. He's making his 13th straight start in center field. Batting in the number 6 hole. He has runners at second and third and 2 outs. Joe Torre said that Bernie's shoulders are barking just a little bit. And you'll see this swing and a miss. And he said that's not necessarily the case. He said, I just tell Joe, if they're bothering me just a bit, I won't take batting practice, but they're not bothering me enough that I don't want to play. He said, so I'll skip BP every now and then.
Bernie did take batting practice tonight, and he's actually been on a pretty good hot streak. He's 12 for his last 35. And 2 hits away from tying Don Mattingly on the all-time Yankee list.
Passed Yogi Berra just the other day. Passed him fast and furious. Pretty impressive hit list right there.
Wow.
And the next on Bernie's hit list is his batting coach. When you climb into the top 10 with the Yankees, you're going to pass names like that.
Yeah. I mean, even if he didn't pass him, to look at that and say, here I am, Bernie Williams, and I'm linked with Ruth, Gehrig, Mantle, and Mattingly. Boy, it has really been nice to see how Bernie has come up with some big hits and suddenly established himself, you know, passing Tony Lazzeri on the RBI list.
Pedro had a little extra on that fastball in, trying to pass Bernie on the inner half after all that breaking stuff.
You know, you mentioned he doesn't have the blazer anymore, but the scouts have said it before. You can learn how to pitch hitters in the American League by just watching the way Pedro pitches. He still has a great knack of taking a little off, putting a little on, and throwing it in good spots most of the time.
Grounded to second base. Took something off that one. Marlon Anderson to Minkiewicz, and that'll do it. But the Yankees do get a run thanks to that man, Derek Jeter. On an 0-1 pitch, he takes one just to the right of dead center field. His 10th home run of the year. We played one at the stadium. It's 1-0 Yankees. New York Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Dodge. To get anywhere, you've got to grab life by the horns. Dodge. Energy Star. New Yorkers lead the way with Energy Star. Just visit getenergysmart.org. And by Honda. See your Honda dealer and discover the great values now being offered. Another sellout crowd here at Yankee Stadium. This homestand has certainly been very good for that. The present mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, in the light blue shirt, and the former mayor of New York City, Rudolph Giuliani, in the dark suit. We know Giuliani's a big Yankee fan. Mayor Bloomberg, I'm not so sure. He said he roots for the team that has Matsui on it.
There's only one active Matsui, though.
Yeah, right.
Pitch to Marlon Anderson is low, 1-0.
In fact, Marlon Anderson has taken over for Kaz Matsui, who's on the DL with a, I believe it's a bruised knee. He was taken out on a double play, and Marlon Anderson, who's done a good job off the bench, is now playing.
Well, they really lose a weapon when they start Marlon Anderson because he's a .433 hitter as a pinch hitter. Rick Peterson is on the phone, and you wonder, as you see some stirring in the Met bullpen right now, if something might be amiss with Pedro Martinez. Fouled away, 2-1. No one is throwing at this point out there. Wouldn't be Roberto Hernandez, a little too early for him. And the 2-1. Line drive off the glove of a leaping Tino Martinez and into right field for a base hit.
You know, one thing the Yankee fans might remember about Marlon Anderson, who just got that base hit, when he was with Tampa Bay, he wore the Yankees out. I mean, this might put him over the 400 mark as a career hitter against the Yankees. He came in at .395 in 76 at-bats. He had 30 hits against the Yankees. So he's 31 for 77.
Here's David Wright. He's having an impressive first full season. Up and down in the lineup. That's second sometimes, seventh a lot, seventh tonight. And there's a strike.
His first game in Yankee Stadium, which we saw a lot of the Pirates and Cubs, even, you know, veterans that had been around for a long time. First time they had, because of interleague play, seen Yankee Stadium. Played here, rather.
Well, one such veteran on the Mets, Danny Graves, who was with the Reds for so long. First time he's ever walked into Yankee Stadium today.
By the way, that hit put Marlon Anderson at .403 in his career against the Yankees. One thing that's impressed me about David Wright are the few times that I've seen him, Kitty, that you mentioned and Michael mentioned he's having a pretty good first full season. He hits the ball well to the opposite field. He has great power to right center. And when you have a young hitter who's not concentrating on pulling every pitch up there and has the ability to use just about the whole field, you've got yourself a pretty good hitter in the making. You get harder to fool as a hitter when you can hit the ball the other way.
Wright's season has been a little bit tricky for people. He's 22 years old, and they say he has a presence of a 32-year-old when he's at the plate. But when he's on the base paths, they say he has the presence of a 12-year-old. So there's a 20-year swing there.
That's not surprising to hear. A nice chat with a couple of Willie's coaches, as well as Willie today, and that's Sandy Alomar, father of a couple of great big league baseball players. And we were saying the very same thing. With all the athletic ability and the talent that's around in the major leagues today, one of the skills that is really doesn't measure up to their ability is base running. And like Sandy has said, you know, when he played in the minor leagues, I'm sure for Kenny and myself, we didn't have a lot of coaches. You didn't have pitching coach. You didn't have anything. I mean, sometimes your trainer coached first base. You just learned how to play on your own. Now, every time a guy gets on base, he's looking for the coach to tell him what to do. He never really develops the instincts. Probably the exception in the ballpark tonight for that is Derek Jeter. You know, you'll see Derek on first base and that ball's hit. He doesn't need a coach. He knows exactly where all the players are, where the infielders have been, and what to do. But he's the exception, not the rule.
It's one reason why he's leading the American League in runs scored.
Runner goes. Pitches outside. No throw needed as Wright walks, and Anderson moves to second. It is television's most explosive and critically acclaimed show, and get ready as it returns for a second season on FX. Rescue Me stars Dennis Leary as a New York City fireman who always seems to find trouble in the station house and at home. In the 6th inning, we'll have a special sneak peek of Rescue Me. New episode Tuesday. Here's Doug Minkiewicz. Brilliant defender, but boy, has he struggled offensively this year. To the point that the Mets actually have to start looking to maybe bring in somebody to play first base if they make a trade. Squares the bunt, takes a pitch high.
This is made doubly difficult for Minkiewicz to advance the runners with Mike Mussina on the mound. It's excellent fielder. You know, Tino Martinez, you got a first baseman who'll make the proper decision if the ball is bunted in his direction. And we all know about A-Rod's quickness at third. So there are three tough defenders to try and advance the runners.
And that's a nice bunt. That's going to be a base hit. It is. The bases are loaded.
You could chalk that hit up to the modern baseball fields. Years ago, for drainage purposes, the infields would slope, and that ball would have trickled foul, but not here. I mean, he deadens it. The play the Yankees have on is A-Rod retreats to third, and Mussina to get over there. But as good a fielder as Mike is, there is no way he's going to get over there and field that. That's just a perfect bunt, and it's going to stay right there.
You notice how the bat head was above the ball, so you can drop the bat head onto the ball and deaden it. And as Kitty said, it's a perfect bunt.
Here's Castro, and he swings and lofts one to deep right, backing up Sheffield. He'll make the play on the run. Tagging is Anderson. He'll score. Wright advances to third. It's the perfect sac fly. You go to right field, the run scores, and the runner at second gets the third. The game is tied at 1.
Sheffield retreating, and quickly will get the ball back in. And Ramon Castro has picked himself up, not only advanced the two base runners, he picked himself up and run batted in as Anderson came in to score.
So the anatomy of a rally against Mike Mussina. Anderson singles off Martinez's glove, a walk to right, Minkiewicz a bunt single, then a sac fly. Back to the top of the lineup, and Reyes pitches high.
It's one of those situations I think back to Billy Martin when he had a young player like this and Billy was managing. He'd give you one swing. And now since the Yankees are playing they're playing for a double play. They're playing double play depth. And the way he can run, they're not going to do that. But if he just drags a bunt past the pitch, he'd go stay out of the double play and get a run home.
And the count 2-0. It's 1-1. Then the Mets have runners on the corners with one out. Willie Randolph managing his first game at Yankee Stadium. And he played under Billy Martin. Foul back, 2-1.
Well, the other night we saw Carl Crawford hit into 2 double plays.
Yeah. I mean, that swing there is the indication of a young hitter. I mean, he's ahead in the count 2-0, a hitter's count, and yet he took a real defensive swing on a, when he gets more experience, he's in that count, he's going to say, well, look, if that ball's not middle in where I can handle it, I'm going to take it.
(2-1). High fly ball, right center field. Converging Bernie Williams in Sheffield, and the ball is dropped by Bernie Williams. Wright will score. Advancing to second is Minkiewicz. It's an E8, and the Mets lead 2-1. You could see confusion between Bernie Williams and Sheffield. Bernie Williams finally got there and simply dropped the ball.
Tough couple of days for Bernie in the outfield. Here's what Michael's talking about. Of course, Bernie's the quarterback. He takes charge, and that's just a case of trying to throw it before you caught it, taking your eye off the ball. Yesterday he got caught napping. He didn't get to a ground ball quickly enough. That was just, he was in position. He just simply missed the ball.
That will be a sacrifice fly for Reyes and an error on Bernie Williams for allowing him to reach base. So no time at bat.
Pitch to Cameron. Boy, Mike Mussina's going to look around and go, what did I do wrong this inning?
Well, of course, Mike, as sharp as he's been the last 3 outings, has labored. I mean, he walked David Wright. He's not been as sharp as a pitcher early on.
And the 1-0. There's a strike.
Saw that look on Joe Torre's face, and Joe said before the game, I come to the park and I don't really know who we are. You see a different Yankee team every day. I mean, you've seen Mike Mussina on a roll, and you look for a pitcher's duel. Now all of a sudden tonight you're seeing a different Mike Mussina. You get a little sloppy play in the field.
Count 1-2.
It's one thing you don't want to do against somebody like Pedro Martinez. You get the lead against him. You want to keep the lead because it might be difficult to get any more runs against him.
Cameron doubled inside third in the first inning. And they try the pickoff. It gets away. And Minkiewicz is going to go to third. The throw by Jeter is not in time. That's gutsy base running by Minkiewicz and heads up base running by Reyes.
A rare error by Mike Mussina. I don't know if he's tried a pickoff play yet this year. You got to have quick feet and a quick pivot. And Mike didn't quite get himself in position to unload it as quickly. You see Cano right there had to reach into the runner to try to block the ball. And Jeter with a desperate throw to Alex, not in time. The error charged to Mussina.
Yankees, of course, will play the infield back, so a ground ball, and the Mets will get another run. A single with Reyes' speed, they probably get 2. Mussina would love the strikeout to count 2-2. Carlos Beltran on deck. Two.
The other thing both managers are looking at here, and I talked to Willie about it before the game, we know from following Mussina, is that I would say these two pitchers for 100 to 110 pitches can be as good as anybody in baseball. But from then on, their effectiveness kind of goes downhill. Right now you're seeing Mike really get his pitch count up early in the game, which spells a shorter outing for him than normal.
This will be his 43rd pitch, and we're 1 out into the second inning. 2-2. Cameron making him work. And that clicker is spinning. 25 strikes out of the 43 pitches.
That's not a Mussina-like ratio.
Two. Lofted to right field. That'll get another run in. And Kavich tags. He'll score. Reyes goes to third. So does the throw. It's not in time. A sac fly for Cameron. And the Mets lead the Yankees 3-1.
Mets have actually done a pretty good job this inning of situational hitting. 3 times they've delivered a sacrifice fly to get a run home. So all 3 runs have scored on sac flies.
And again, talking with the Mets coaches before the game, this is an area that they have not been productive in. This has been one of their downfalls. Get men in scoring position, don't advance them or come up with a sacrifice fly or a productive out, but they certainly have done that tonight so far.
I would think that it's either a record or has to tie a record. 3 sac flies in 1 inning.
Just when you think that, it becomes something off the charts.
Three sac flies.
The drop ball by Bernie is a sac
that's
fly.
right. That's right. I was going to say, how could, because the third out you wouldn't get a sacrifice fly, but yeah.
We got to check with our buddies at Elias, but I think they're checking right now as we speak. One. Beltran pops it up. This will finally end the inning. Jeter is there, and he puts it away. But a very, very sloppy inning for the Yankees. 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. That 1 error, right there, Bernie Williams dropped it. 3-1 Mets lead. The New York Yankees, the most renowned sports franchise in the world, have won more championships than any other team in the history of sports. Don't miss a holiday afternoon special on Monday, July 4th, when the Yankees host the Orioles. The first 18,000 fans 14 and under will receive a Derek Jeter t-shirt courtesy of Majestic Athletic. The 2005 New York Yankees. Looking back, looking forward. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Mets lead the Yankees 3-1 now. Ralph Kiner actually working with a young Ken Singleton.
Much younger.
Man. Sleek.
That was down in the instructional league. What year was that? That was
38? No.
No. Wasn't that long
70.
ago. It might have been 70 in the instructional league.
Wow. And that's before, heading into the weight room, man. That's that's good home cooking.
That's Al Lang Field in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Right.
And that particular day, I played in the instructional league game, and I hit a home run. Or else that's what I'm talking about.
What a good pupil.
1-2, strike 3. A backdoor breaking ball. Posada not in love with the call, but Pedro punches him out. 1 away.
Perfect sequence. You saw Pedro, and the difference now, what we're seeing between Pedro and Mike Mussina, and it's been that case all years. After Pedro comes inside, you can kind of get an idea of why Posada's upset with that call. That certainly looked like it did not catch the corner of the plate. But when Pedro comes inside, it's usually off the plate where you can't hit it. He uses that pitch to set up the outside pitch.
Tino swings and misses.
They always talk about Pedro's fastball, but his changeup is one of the best in baseball too.
He is not, and that's hard to even say when you look at his strikeouts and his effectiveness. You know, pitching in the National League now where they don't have as deep a lineups, but it's hard to say he's not as dominant because he still is. But he's just a great pitcher. Whether he throws it, 98 or 89, he has the ability to vary his speeds and his location.
2-1. 2-2.
Every hitter he's faced, there's been a first pitch strike.
You usually don't see changeups inside, but you saw one right there.
Well, Tino's a high ball hitter. He moves the ball around the zone.
Ground ball right side. Anderson 2 away.
And just to show you a difference, and it's been like a broken record, but I'll tell you, it is all the talk around baseball is you're taught to throw inside off the plate, but not give hitters pitches on the inside part of the plate that they can hit. And it's happened in this, and it already has happened tonight. 2 instances: the Marlon Anderson single and the Reyes sacrifice fly.
Pitch to Womack's a strike. Womack has really been struggling. 5 for 25, 7 for 49.
Whew. High cheese.
And higher cheese as Womack goes down on strikes. A 1-2-3 inning for Pedro Martinez. A long time ago in a place far away, a man learns how to eventually be a broadcaster. We'll be back.
Both of them.
Overhead look at the great ballpark in the Bronx and a direct look at the Coors Light scoreboard. Mets lead 3-1 as we head to the top of the third. Cliff Floyd leads off.
Here's the Bacardi scouting report on Cliff Floyd. Sweet home Chicago. He was born in Chicago, grew up in South Howland, Illinois, where he was a big two-sport star at Thornwood High School. Expos #1 draft pick back in 1991. And in 2001 had 31 home runs for the Marlins. That's his career high. That might be going out the window this year. He's already hit 17 this year.
For a while, the Mets actually led the National League in home runs, which is very odd for a team that plays half of its games at Shea Stadium. But they have really struggled offensively. That one's hit deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. Into the old Yankee bullpen in right field. A solo shot for Floyd, and the Mets lead 4-1.
Well, back in the day when Cliff came to the major leagues, I was broadcasting Expos games, and I got to meet his parents in Chicago, and he said they are here tonight at the ball game.
And unfortunately for Mike Mussina, Cliff is here too.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at him and you think what might have been, except for the injuries. This guy not only had power but speed, and it's unusual to see Mike Mussina miss the target. You see that pitch designed to be low and away, and Moose left it over to the center of the plate, and in a 2-0 count, Floyd took care of it.
Mets now have 44 home runs in their last 44 games. High fly ball left field. Womack is there. 1 away.
That was unusual for Mike not getting that pitch away. But here we're going to look at the first inning. You see him shake his head. See Posada's target. Now I'll guarantee you that 2 guys in the studio, David Justice and Bobby Mercer, and one sitting next to me right here, would love to get these pitches from a right-hand pitcher. Inside strikes where you can get the barrel on it. And this is one he just left over the center. But the Yankees have just been getting killed on those pitches that they try to get inside and leave out over the plate, which we've talked about ad nauseum, that it points out why down and away is the best pitching zone. And it's been interesting the last few days even to hear Mel and Joe tell you, I don't know what we're doing coming in these situations. They don't call pitches from the bench in the big leagues.
Count 2-0 to Anderson. That one is lined to right field. Backing up is Sheffield. A little hop there at the end to haul it in. 2 away. Another well-hit ball.
Well, look at Chef. Maybe the ball had a little more giddy up than he thought, and rattles around in his glove, and he holds on to it. Hey, Chef uses one of the biggest gloves I've ever seen out there in the
like a high-rise cesta. You know, the Don Mattingly wind indicator that we show you quite often, that bat will tell you that's pointed out a little toward the right field corners. It's an indication of it carrying that way.
Here's David Wright. You know, we mentioned the 3 sac flies the Mets had in the second inning. That is a new National League record. It ties a Major League record, which is held by 3 separate teams in the American League. 1962 White Sox did it on July 11th. And get this, the 2000 Yankees did it twice. They did it on June 29th of 2000 and on August 19th of 2000.
So it had to be the same situation, right? Somebody would drop it because
it's the only way, right?
Right. I mean, you can't get the third out. Can't be a sacrifice fly.
Just missed.
Seen a little discouraged with the call on that last pitch.
And you can bet Jorge is saying something to him because he got called out on a questionable pitch. And we talked about this before, that nobody questions close pitches more than Mike Mussina, because usually he's right on target. You know, he either hits the target or he just misses. And that one, Phil Cuzzy said, just missed.
Wright walked in the second inning. Came around to score. The 2-1. Grounded foul outside of third.
You know, Wright's 34th walk of the year. That actually leads the Mets. That is very unusual for a young hitter.
Two, strike 3, right down looking. So that'll do it in the third inning for Mike Mussina. Although he gives up a run on 1 hit, and Cliff Floyd goes yard. Pitch stayed out over the plate and went back into the old Yankee bullpen in right field. We go to the bottom of the third. 4-1 Mets. New York Yankees baseball on Yes is being brought to you in part by the New York State Smokers Quit Line. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS. Toyota with 17 models moving you forward. And by Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken. Derek Jeter leads off, and he fouls back Martinez's first pitch.
10 for 10, first pitch strikes. Of course, that's what he started Derek out with last time. A strike and then a home run.
Coors Light scoreboard 4-4-0 for the Mets and 1-3-2 for the Yankees as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Check swing.
You're seeing an example of the intelligence of Pedro Martinez as a pitcher. You see with Womack, he got him to swing at a high strike, and I've heard Pedro use this expression in pitchers in the past too. He said, you'll throw high and then higher than high, or go right up the ladder. And those are inside, but they're up and in where you can't get the barrel to them. I mean, he can move that ball around that strike zone as well as anyone with a variety of pitches, which is, I guess, why they're hitting 172 against him, and he's got the numbers that he has.
I don't think Derek has seen anything off speed in this at bat as of yet. And I would think Pedro would want this pitch to be the pitch of decision.
2-2. And the count full. And the 3-2 missed outside, so Jeter works a walk to start off the third. Pedro's first walk of the night.
Appears that Derek gained a little respect after that home run in the first inning. The count was 0-2 if I wasn't mistaken, and he ran it to 3-2 and drew a walk. And
in these delicate days of pitch counts, you know, that becomes important because Pedro's got a 4-1 lead, and you know he'll be out there for maybe 100, 110 pitches, and that's it. So the Yankees, that's how they've beaten him in the past. Not beating him, but the teams he pitches for, is to make him work early.
Here's Robinson Cano. Thinks about bunting, but takes a strike. Cano has an 11-game hitting streak working. Fouled out to right in the first inning.
Have we seen Cano bunt for a base hit this year?
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
That was a good idea there. You know, down 3.
We've seen him try to sacrifice. He is not a great bunter. Remember, in the minor leagues, he was such a good hitter. He was batting third with Columbus before he was called up, so he wasn't called on to bunt a lot. He's had one sacrifice this year.
I'm not so much thinking about the sacrifice as I am bunting for a base hit.
Right.
I mean, David Wright is the rookie third baseman. He leads the Mets in errors with 11, and you can see he's beyond the bag at third. And he might creep in a bit. Forget about the bunt. It's now 0-2.
You know, I don't know in these days of video whether hitters of the past have put them out, but I'll tell you who could make a great instructional video on bunting for base hits: Rod Carew. And we've talked about the comparisons with Robinson Cano and Rod Carew. Boy, you can pick up about 25, 30 hits a year. I know you wish you could have done that.
Yeah, well,
slow tapper toward third. Going to be a tough play. Right field's fires. Got it.
You know, you figure if you did go 2-3 games and where you're a little slump, you know that bunt's going to put a hit on the board.
You know, and I also think if you had the ability to run and lay down a bunt, if I had that ability, you get better pitches to hit too.
Sure.
Because here's Cano, and this ball's a little bit too close to first base. If it was a little further down the line, he might have had a chance. But David Wright's up with it, throws over to Mankiewicz for the out. But Jeter moves down to second.
So Cano is 0 for 2, and that'll bring up Sheffield. Sheffield blooped a single to left in the first inning. Whew. A little bit more than a bloop in mind right there.
Strength to strength.
Well, I just saw the finals of the NBA last night. That was a little one-on-one right there.
You can see Jeter in the back of your picture there. When he gets on second, you know, and Derek is such a great base runner, he not only looks at the outfielders but the infielders. He'll look around where everybody's playing. So when the ball's hit, that gives him a sense of whether it's going to be at somebody or in the hole. He's his own coach. Good for young baseball players to watch.
Things got a little hairy last year between Pedro and Sheffield. He hit Sheffield, and Sheffield stared out at him and said, "No, not me. Anybody else, but not me. Don't mess." Pedro's only hit one batter this year with the Mets.
I think he hit 16 last year in the American League.
I think he has to bat this year.
Oh, yeah. Facing the music is a whole different story.
Chop to third, right fields. 2 away. Let's take a look at the Yankees' upcoming schedule, brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Tomorrow at 4:05, we have the game right here on Yes. Then we turn it over to John Miller and Joe Morgan on Sunday, and ESPN will do the honors. And then the Yankees move to Baltimore to meet, right now, the first place Orioles. Monday's game is on Yes. Tuesday's game will be on UPN 9, and then Wednesday's game also on Yes. All the games on Yes half hour prior, except for tomorrow. We'll have our pregame show. Pedro Martinez has been perfect with first pitch strikes, 12 for 12. Let's see if he follows that trend against A-Rod. The reason we don't have the pregame tomorrow is because that's in the Fox window from 1 to 4, but we will have our postgame show on Yes after tomorrow's game. The 0-1. Count 0-2.
You know, people might wonder, why is it so important to throw that first pitch strike? It has been proven over the years that when a hitter is behind on the count for that first pitch, batting averages significantly drop. They go down. The pitcher has the advantage. The hitter is more on the defensive. So the ability to get that first pitch in there in a good location, because if you throw one down the middle, they're going to hit it. So Pedro's done a good job of throwing the good spots on that first pitch to each hitter.
Grounded right back up the middle and through for a base hit. Jeter rounds third. He'll score. It's an RBI single for Alex Rodriguez, and the Yankees now trail 4-2. A-Rod's 2 for 2 against Pedro.
Yeah, and a good approach. Just takes it right back up the middle. Didn't try to do too much with it. It's a ball that Pedro probably feels he should have been able to flag down. Didn't get leather on it, and the Yankees get one closer.
For Rodriguez, his 64th ribby. Here's Matsui. A-Rod goes. It's a strike. The throw to second is not in time. Ball gets away from Reyes, but Rodriguez stays right there.
Boy, that's good anticipation by A-Rod. You get on base and you got a perfect pitch to steal on. Pedro threw him an off-speed pitch. Nice effort by Castro to try to recover. Couldn't get it there in time, and now the Yankees have run number 3 in scoring position.
Some great camera work right there.
Count levels at 1-1 on Matsui. Grounded out to first in the first.
Depending on the respect Pedro has for either Hideki or Bernie right now with first base open, and if he's followed the papers lately, he knows how Matsui is hit with runners in scoring position, so it looks like he's pitching a little cautiously to him.
It's all or nothing for that outside corner right now. Either he hits the corner or the ball is going to be outside.
And that's outside, so the count 3-2. First base open, Bernie Williams on deck. A-Rod checking the outfielders. Three pretty good arms out in the Met outfield. And Matsui walks.
You know, there's the respect that Kitty was talking about. A 3-2 changeup to Matsui. And we talked about how hot Matsui has been. Bernie Williams has been swinging the bat pretty well, too.
And I tell you, Bernie relishes this situation. He knows he dropped a very easy fly ball to allow the Mets to score an extra run, so he's got a chance with one swing to get it all back.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Williams grounded to second in the first with runners on second and third. There he takes a strike. Pedro has started every Yankee hitter out with a strike tonight.
He got that knee-high zone locked in, doesn't he? I mean, it is right at the knees.
15 for 15. Count 0-2.
And very little anybody could have done about that, Bernie. That was just filthy.
Swing and a miss. Blows a fastball by him, and that'll do it for the Yankees in the third. But they score one run on one hit. No errors, and two men left. He goes up the ladder with Bernie, and Bernie's the one who falls. We go to the top of the fourth inning. Mets 4, Yankees 2.